So let's look at the difference between Oceanwp and Astra. So now this is an Astra imported site and this is an Oceanwp site. And the one major thing that I want to explain to you guys, or the difference, that is Astra is much more lightweight than Oceanwp. There's like 0.3 seconds of difference between loading a Astra theme versus Oceanwp theme. I have actually created a whole video showing the hosting speed, and on that one I use both of these themes, Astra and Oceanwp. But let me just show the next thing. And it is normal for Astra to be lightweight than Oceanwp because basically Oceanwp has like much more detailed customization than Astra, which is why Astra is like much more lightweight because there's like less customization. So let me go into the Astra dashboard, click on starter templates, and when it comes to templates, it is basically just easier win for Astra. Basically so much more themes, or not themes, sorry, templates, both free and premium. And if you're going to buy Pro Astra or Pro Oceanwp or Elementor Pro, just use the link in description. That way you could support me, or you could just go on this site and it just shows like my favorite stuffs. And I installed this one. If you can see, this is the one that I've installed for Astra. So when it comes to themes, or sorry, when it comes to templates, Astra has like too much templates. Like you have so much options, but when it comes to just Oceanwp, you get only like this many for the free version. The paid version has a lot, but the free version has this ones, and these are like pretty basic ones. This is the same theme that they have been using for same templates that they have been using for past 6 years or 7 years. But I still use Oceanwp for lots of my clients because basically it just gives me much more customizability than Astra. And lots of the time when clients are like, hey, I want this to be done, I would usually find some limitations in Astra than Oceanwp. So if you actually just talk to your clients, or when you're looking to what you're going to make on your website, just make sure you plan it all out so that it is, you actually understand that, okay, I'm not going to need this, so I don't need Oceanwp, or I don't need Astra. You could also just use Elementor Pro, and then you don't even need to use both of these themes. So the next thing we are going to look at is the header section, which is this one and this one for Oceanwp. Now when it comes to just good UI and easier to build options, Astra just has the best options to just build it. So for example, if I go into this one, you could see it pops up these 3 sections, and we are not using the free version. If you have the pro version, you get even more options. But basically you could see the site logo is around here. I can just move it and then move like this, and you could see I can just add any other element around here. I could add, so if I remove the secondary menu, I can just place it around this section like this one. I could add the secondary menu around here so that all of them are aligned. And if I want to create a top bar, I can basically just add a menu around here. So you could see I have a top bar, and this one I can add an HTML widget like this. And here it also allows you to add stuff like contact me on my email or stuff like that. Or basically if you have Elementor Pro, or if you use the plugin called Anywhere Elementor, you could create anything with Elementor and use the shortcode around here, and it will just show around here. So you could basically just use this HTML widget to just add any other Elementor template that you want, or any other Elementor section with like Anywhere Elementor plugin, or using the Elementor Pro, which gives like shortcode. So two options are there. Again, this is the bottom header. You could actually add stuff around here. So if I just move it down, you could see it's now at the bottom. And to customize it, all you need to click is this settings icon, and then you could change the height, you could change the colors, the background option, the background color. So let me just go around this one. If I go into transparent header, I can actually change the color by going into design, and you could see it just changes. If I don't want a transparent header, I could do that just by changing stuff. And all of these options are there, like the menu text link, background, just the normal options that are usually provided. Now let's check Oceanwp's. Now Oceanwp does not have as good of a UI, and it also provides much better customizability. So if we go into headers, general, you actually get so many options around here. And basically with Astra you could make any of this header by just actually manually doing it. Whereas in here you actually get like transparent header, which is basically the transparent header like this one that we had. And then you could choose the color around here like this if you want to not have stuff showing. You could go for top menu like this one, and then choose where your menu position should be. Then we go for the full screen, which is basically like the full screen menu. Then we go for center, and this is the two options that we have. And you could see you can actually add two different menus that we have. So right now it's just showing like the left menu is main menu, and then the right one would be like the default that you have set around here. So whichever is set around here would be shown on the right section, and on the left side it will show the one that is selected from here. Stuff like that. Next is the medium option, which is adding a search bar here and a social icon here. And another thing is, if there's social button, you could see the option. So the social button, actually you could just go in here, you can click on enable social menu, and if I go into my dashboard, go into Oceanwp my library, you could see that I have created like a basic basically a Elementor section or template around here. It is basically an image and a heading, nothing much. And you could use this shortcode anywhere on your website, but what we are going to do is we are going to select the header around here for this for the social icon, and you could see it is showing around here. So you could actually add any other section around here. Same with this one, you just need to use HTML and then use the text. Where is it? So HTML. In this one we just add the shortcode around here, but you will need Elementor Pro or anywhere Elementor plugin installed for that one. So if I just do select, and if I add some values around here, it will just show the social icons. Next is the top bar. So yeah, you could add your top bar, you could make it full width, you could add the padding, you could choose the colors and all, you could choose like the what you want around where. So you could have the left content social, left content center content, stuff like this. And then going into content, you could choose a template too if you wish to. So it will basically just replace it with template. And you can also add stuff around here like this, any HTML around here to add after this one. To disable the social for the top bar, and then again like you could use the template, and then all the color options are present. So difference is Oceanwp does have lots of options. It also has one more header, which is like the vertical one. So this one, and then you could make it like closed by default like this one, and then you could also add a template. So let me just add a header like this to show you guys. You could add a template around this one, or you could also add something about top. So you could say we can also use like completely different section made in my library on this section instead of using the default one. And you could also add something after the bottom of the header like this one. Options to change the size. So this option I'm not seeing in Astra's free version. So that's one big difference, I would say. This one doesn't matter because it is controlled by this thing. So you could see stuff like this, and also an option to create a custom header with the Elementors my library which we have made around here. You could add anything and it will create that custom header. So if you don't have Elementor Pro, you could also use that stuff. That's all the difference that I know about header sections. Right now, the options to actually create and make it nicely and much more nice UI is on Astra, but it also provides much more nice configurations and stuff around there. For example, in this one, I can just create a button pretty easily and then make a button with like just simple steps. In this one, what you need to do is you need to go into your menu, and then basically you need to add a CSS class called button, and then you will need to use CSS to actually change this. It is pretty easy to actually change the buttons with this one. With CSS, they don't have an option like this one for buttons in menu section, and there's like a whole tutorial, like pretty easy 10 minutes tutorial to actually customize it. Pretty easy ones. Now for the header sections in mobile version, so both of these have nice options for mobile header. So if I go into header options and then go into off canvas, let's see there are options to fly out, so it can come from left and right. We have option to full screen like this, and then we have option of a drop down, so like this one. And these options are also available in Oceanwp. So if we go into mobile menu, we have the option of, so we want logo cart link like this. So logo cart link. Don't worry about this one, I actually messed up the CSS a bit. And then we have option to sidebar, full screen like this. So you cannot check it in customization because it like refreshes for some reason. Drop down and sidebar, same as the other ones. You can change the hamburger icon class. You could change the hamburger icon, which is this one. You actually have an ability option to like add a text around here. Option to like displays close menu button where the direction should be. Search icon is disabled and all of this stuff. Both of them have the similar options. Next thing we will see is the footer builder, and it is pretty good. It is the similar way. It actually provides stuff like this one to do it. Just an HTML with like save up to this stuff. You could actually use a shortcode around here to just add the Elementor section. There's like widget options where you could just add like your footer builder widgets, which is around here. So widgets are all shown. Normal WordPress widgets are present around here. And nothing much. Same with header, just you could move it around stuff and their own sections like this. Now when it comes to footer for Oceanwp, you could see that they also have the same stuff like this. If I go into the footer options, if you go into footer widgets, you could see you could choose the number of columns that you want. You could add a container, padding, and the colors around here. You could actually use a template too, which is made in like the my library section. So you don't even need to use the widget panel around here. And I like to use like create it in Elementor and then just go and add it around here like template, because it's just better to use than use these sections, the default Oceanwp widgets. And it's same. All of these are different Oceanwp widgets or WordPress widgets, not even Oceanwp. Both of them are similar, except again, same nice UI and an option to add a Elementor template around here and an option to add a footer bottom copyright section. You could see. And same with this one, you could actually add a copyright section with the footer bottom. Now let's check the block customization. So if you go into the block section, you could see I've added a block section. and then a blog page is this one. So these are the default ones that I have present right now for this ones. And this one, I usually don't use the blog sections from the theme. I usually use like Elementor's page builder, and then just create a blog widget, blog archive widget, and then make that page as the blog page. Same with this one, but let me show what this is present. So in the blog archive, we have different sizes. Same with this ones, we actually have left sidebar, right sidebar options. Same with this one, we can add left sidebar, right sidebar like this. I'll keep it default. Now when it comes to blog archive sections, I am not seeing an option to actually show it in a grid pattern in Astra, but it doesn't actually matter because you could just use like Elementors and create a new page and then add a blog archive widget in that. So it doesn't actually matter. But if you don't want to add a widget, then this is an option which is only present in the free version of Oceanwp and for pro version of Astra. So by default it is showing in this manner. And let me just check for the archive sections, and then we have option to make it 3. So we have option to make it 3. We can actually reduce the excerpt length. We actually have an option to make the custom image width, height, option to actually choose which layout it is shown. So right now it shows featured image. Then we can actually move the content about right now like this on top, and you could say it changes it. So you have an option to make it order like this. We have an option to infinite scroll and next gen preview. So right now I only have 6, so it's not going to work, but it will add like next and previous button, or just add number buttons, or it will automatically load as you scroll down, which is also good. So image sizes, we have option around here. So for blog sections, Oceanwp wins it just because it is provided in the free version, and we are not comparing the paid versions. Okay, so I'm not sure about it. And this is how the free version of Oceanwp looks. You could see, and this is how Astra's look. Both of them are good and both of them provide lots of stuff. So one of the things I want to show you guys is when you go into edit page. So if I click edit page and if I click edit page for Oceanwp, now for Astra, you could see there is an extra option around here where you could actually choose which way you want to show the layout for this specific page. If you go into sidebar, you could choose, and you could choose if you want to disable the header, footer, banner area, and then you could choose if you want to show the headers and all or not. But this is all the options that is present in Astra's free version. But when it comes to Oceanwp, so when I click on edit page and go into this section, you could see we have so many options. So let me go one by one. So in general, we can choose the layout. We can choose which sidebar we want, and Oceanwp has one more plugin which is called like custom sidebars. So you could actually make like multiple sidebars, different types of, and then there's adding padding and stuff, custom body class, the shortcode. So we can add a shortcode before and after top bar with headers in page title, footer. So we have 2 options. So it's before and after. It is for specific pages. It's not global. It's only for specific pages. So in header section, we can actually disable if you don't want to show our header on the home page, or if you don't want to display our header at all, we could disable it. And there's another option which is this one. So for example, if you want to create your website in a way that only your front page should have like a transparent header, but rest of the pages should not have a transparent header. So rest of the pages should have this header. Then you could just go into home page and choose that your header for the home page should be transparent. And in the customized section for the whole global website, you could choose the normal header, which is this one. So in this header, so in the main header, global header, you could choose any header you want, and this would be applied to your whole website. In the home page, you could actually select just transparent, and it will just show the transparent header. So if I go and reload now, you could say it shows transparent header here, but if I go into other pages, it shows the global header. And if you want to edit this transparent header, what you need to do is go into customize, choose transparent first, do the settings around here. So let's say I want this to be like red and then like 50% like this. Publish it and go into back to your main global header and then publish it. And right now if I just refresh this page, it will show the red header. And we basically just choose whichever header we want and then add the settings. So for example, if we do another one, we can simply just change the settings here. So like top menu, we can change the center, border color and all, and then you can just publish it and go back to the minimal one which we want, and then choose whichever header you want here, and the settings would be saved for that one. So that's pretty easy. And one cool option that is available in Oceanwp, you could also add different logos for like specific page, multiple menu options, so different color for menu, you could see active color, so different page would have different hover color, background color and stuff. That's different menu options too. There's title, which is actually doesn't matter much unless you are actually using the page title option from the customizer. Breadcrumbs, again, if you have enabled breadcrumbs, you could just, which is like this one, breadcrumbs, you could disable it for specific pages. Again, footer, you could have like different footer, and you could make one with, which I said in like the my library section in Oceanwp, and you could add specific to that page only. This is nothing. This is the option to just like make it default, and this is just for them to like buy the pro version. So I think when it comes to these features, it is actually better in Oceanwp than Astra. So now let's look at the archive page or the shop page. Now one thing I need to show you guys or tell you guys that I actually had an issue with Oceanwp shop page right now, that when it installed the template, it actually added so many options like right sidebar, full width, this buttons, and it actually messed it up. And it was not actually showing this page, but some random shop page. So not only these images were not loading, this was also not loading. So it took me like 2 to 3 minutes to fix it, which is why I just suggest to not use Oceanwp templates at all and actually start it from scratch, because that way this would like not cause any issues. And also the designs on Oceanwp templates just suck. So it's just better to start it from manually, and only thing that you are changing when you install a theme is this first top part, this bottom part, and everything else is done. This stuff like this is usually something that you will definitely change even if you use a template like this. So there's no reason to actually use template for Oceanwp, but if you are using Astra, then please go for it. They do have a nice template and easier and functioning template importer. So now let's check the difference. You could see both of them have a filter option, and I basically gone into Woocommerce general. We have an option to add full width. We have option to add a sidebar. So right now we have left sidebar, this one, and these are all the options that we have. And if we go into product catalog, which is this one, again same options, sidebar options, shop card layout. So this one is the design layout one. So let's check it out. So not sure what that did, except okay, this one just removed the add to cart button from the top section. So it only removed this option, and it basically takes you to the page. So nothing much difference. Now this one actually allows you to change the size of the archive content. So this one, so you could actually make it bigger or smaller. There's an option to change the order of these ones, and all of this have option to change. Well, there isn't much option except to like change the alignment of this content. So that's all for that's present on this archive page. But what about the shop page in Oceanwp, which I use? This is one reason why I use Oceanwp, because they do have a nice archive page. As much as they have like a bad importer and all, they do have a nice customizability available for headers and all. So the first thing that I will do is I went into Woocommerce archives, and we have different options to change like left sidebar or right sidebar, both sidebars and option, right sidebar option, how many products are. So this is something that is also available in this one. So we have shop columns and then products per page. So we can have 4 columns and then this stuff. There's an option for grid and list view, but we actually have an option around here. So let's see, we don't have it here. So it actually doesn't really matter because usually people will use grid wave, but it's good to have options sometimes, I guess, if you want to use it. There's an option to like wave 24 all, and here it does not have that option. So this sidebar, both of them will have it. Even if you don't see this one, top rated products and all, it will also have it around here. It's just not added in the template that we have used. When it comes to layout, it's working nicely for this one. So you could see, and for it looks better on this one because the spacing. And for this one thing you will need to search is how to reduce the spacing between text and pricing. And they actually have a custom CSS for it that you will need to add in additional CSS if you're using Oceanwp. Just copy paste it and you will actually reduce the size of these sections. Next thing, I do not see the quick view button. So let me just show you guys. There's a quick view button around here like this, and you could actually go and customize it. So there's an option to actually disable it if you don't want to show the quick view button. And you also actually have an option to change the sizing of these ones, but it's usually handled by automatically just by images and this section. So you could see the quick view button, how it works. Next we have option, and you could see that on my site I'm using Oceanwp, and this is one reason why I'm using Oceanwp, because they have this nice gallery slider that we can just add, and so that people don't need to actually go into that and just see what is present on the site. And this is my site for Elementor templates that you could download for free. So these are free Elementor templates that you could use. So next thing is, if you go and click on shop conditional, you could see that only the price and add to cart button will be showed for logged in user. And I don't know what this one is. So title links function, okay, image and product title links. So basically right now we can click on the image and it takes you to the page, but you could actually disable it, that when someone clicks on the links and this one, it will not take it to the page. So the links will be disabled. There is an option for pagination. So basically the pagination is something like this one. So 1 2 3 4 stuff like this. You could, there is not enough products for me to show the pagination, but it's similar. But there's another option called infinite scroll, that whenever you scroll it will automatically load the next products, and you could keep scrolling and scrolling instead of typing or pressing the next buttons. Again, there's an option which is like product entry media, which is basically this one. Image swap, which is showing the second image on over. So this one I'm not sure if they have provided it or not, or where the option is for it. If you know about it, then please let me know in the comments. And then there's another option which I showed you just now, which is gallery slider. So this one. So Oceanwp, like I said, has much more customizability, which is why also it is like slower to load, and also the customizer loads slower because much more things to load. And right now I'll just add the add to cart button in here, and you could see the add to cart buttons like this, they have been added. And same with everything about this, you could go into design, and then, well, I'm not sure how to customize the add to cart button. I have not used Astra a lot, so I'm not sure how to customize this. But when it comes to add to cart button around here, you just need to go into advanced styling, and there's so much options around here. So product entry toolbar, this one. So product entry is basically the this section. You could customize this one's quick way button like this one. Single product, this is not something that we need to check now. So if we go into product entry, add to cart, we can actually customize it. You could see I can make it like have nothing, can have solid, and then there's like border size, customization, colors, all of these are present around here. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys in this one is that you could actually add a filter button. So for this one, I'm not seeing a filter option. So it's probably at the bottom like this. So there's no filter button around here. But for this one, we can actually add a filter button, which right now isn't showing. But if I just go into the main page, you could see it is loaded around here, and when I click, it will actually load a filter, and you need to go into your widget settings. So appearance, widget settings, and then add the same WooCommerce filters in this one, so that this all will be shown around here. And why it is important is because when you're in mobile, it will actually give an option around here saying filter, and then when you click on it, it will give a sidebar, because for mobile web in Astra you actually don't have the option to filter. Another thing I need to show on Oceanwp is there are two styles. So one is hover style, which is when you hover, it actually shows like this, you could see, which is also cooler way to show your products. So there are two options. So when it comes down to customizability for this section, Oceanwp wins when it comes for WooCommerce, at least for the shop page. Now let's check the single product page. Now you can see this is how the single product page looks. Pretty nice, pretty simple. Everything looks good, and this is how it looks. And if you are wondering about these buttons, it is actually added by a different plugin called Variation Swatch, which you could actually add on Oceanwp too if you add the plugin Variation Swatch. And you could see I'm not seeing multiple images, and you can also add these images like this on this one. It's pretty easy with the WooCommerce block editor. Same way as you have added around here, you can add it around here. Same steps for both of these themes. So additional option review. Let's check the options on single product what we have given. So we can change the order of this section. So this one option is present. This is not, I believe, present on Oceanwp. There's this stuff, free shipping, sticky add to cart. Is it free or paid? Let's check it out. So this option is also actually present on Oceanwp. When you scroll, you could check it. So both of them do have similar options, but I'm not seeing as much customization as Oceanwp around here. So let me show you guys. So in single product, we can change the layout. So if I want to do just single layout without having the sidebar, I could do it. And if I go into my site, you could check. So this page is actually made with Oceanwp, at least for me. And I had to use like CSS and some coding, which I actually have video on it, how you can change the thumbnail size of these sections and all for every single WooCommerce thumbnail or any other theme. So this is how the single product I have made with Oceanwp. You see the zoom effect. It also has the zoom effect and then nice light box. It has the back and front option, usually not needed, this stuff. You have option to change the layout or just what you call the order. We have enable Ajax add to cart. Basically, when you click add to cart like this, it automatically gets added without loading the page. So if I click add to cart, it will not load the page and automatically add it. But if you have some caching, then it is usually not working. So I just usually disable it, because sometimes caching can make it make some issue with that for any other Ajax cart. And you need to know how to actually remove this from caching, which I'm not familiar with. Next is we actually get option to use vertical and horizontal layout like this. add to cart button, we can do like very big like this. We could only show the price for logged in users. For the tabs, we have vertical section or we have sections option, so that it is shown. If there's no tabs, but it will basically show one section below section like this. Tabs position left, right, upsell count, display related products count. The floating bar is this top part with all of the customization at one place. So for customization, I do prefer to say that Oceanwp has like better options when it comes to WooCommerce customization of single product. And what's crazy is that if you go into advanced styling, you actually get lots and lots of customization that you could do. You could add like border radius and stuff. I'm not sure whether we can do it on this one. So yeah, in single product, we actually have like no options. So when it comes to that, Oceanwp wins with much more customization. And for menu cart, I almost forgot about that. So for menu cart, we have this sidebar, which is nice and looks cool in Oceanwp. But for this one, we actually don't have the sidebar menu cart. We actually have this one, which is on hover, it will show the cart. So let's check it on this page instead. So you could see it does, when I click it takes to cart page, but this is how it looks basically. And you could actually customize this completely. No limitations like Astra. So I am looking at the header. So to customize it, I believe we need to go on, not this one, on header builder and then on cart. And here we get option to actually use. So we have option of drop down, which I believe is something with like Oceanwp, and then we have option to change the size. It takes to cart page, so there's nothing, no animation, and then slide in. So when it comes to menu cart, it does seem like this one has one extra option, which is the sidebar cart. So let's check menu cart, style is go to cart or custom link. We can add option, and then we also have option to show the total. So same like this, where it will show total. Option to change the cart icon, cart size, vertical. So there's two options. Not much of a difference, to be honest. It's just smaller cart and then bigger cart or menu cart. Drop down options and all the color options that we have. So when it comes to customizability, like colors and all and everything, both of them have similar options, but Astra has this nice side cart, which I don't believe Oceanwp has it. Now let's check the cart page. So let's go into view cart and I'll go into the cart page. And I don't think any of this would have any difference. So similar coupon code, you could add this one. So if we go into like cart page, so we don't have an option for distraction free cart, I guess. But I believe in this one we have a distraction free cart. If you don't know what distraction free cart is, it basically removes our header and footer and only makes the focus of your visitors on this one. Amazon uses this trick where it does not show the top part and bottom part so that you are not distracted by anything else. So you could actually do this, or this one does not have that option. You have option to add like cross sell elements. Same, everything else is same. Let's click proceed to checkout. Let's click proceed to checkout and let's check what we have options around in checkout. There isn't much, but I'm pretty much sure we have more options in here. So we have the same functions right now, left this one and right this one, left this one and right this one. And another thing is we can actually make distraction free again, remove the header and bottom. We don't have option around here. So you see it is actually only for premium version of Astra, but this is free in Oceanwp. And one more thing that I want to show is a multi-step checkout that we can add. Let me publish it. You cannot see it on customization page, but let's go to checkout. And then you could see that it actually takes first billing information, then you click next, then it takes to shipping, and then you click next, and then it takes to payment info. So you could have like 3 steps. Usually I just prefer to not use this because it actually removes the clicks, or basically your client would not need to click like 3 times. It would just require like 1 click. So it's better to not use multi-step checkout at all. But when it comes to free version of checkout and cart page, Oceanwp wins with main option, which is distraction free cart, which is actually a very big option. Next is basically product images, which I believe have the same option by the default ones. Advanced styling, when it comes to customizability, it is better. So in total, I do think for this one, Oceanwp wins it with so many options for Woocommerce. So here is the final score that you need to check for Astra and Oceanwp. And again, I want to tell you guys that it doesn't really matter which one you use. It just comes down to what your preference is and what your requirement is. Because even if your site is being loading a bit slower, but a functionality is important for your website, then go for Oceanwp. But if the functionality that is added is not that much important, then you could actually use Astra. But normally Oceanwp just feels like much more customizability. Even only the option which is crazy is the header one for Astra. Just choose whichever you want. Even though I think Astra is like much more lightweight, I do use Oceanwp, so I am a bit biased towards it. Just because the amount of customizability that I'm able to do it. But it just comes down to your preference. Just use anything. Use the links in description to support me. You could also use Elementor Pro, and then you don't need to use any of the themes. But even if you use Elementor Pro, the one issue that we find is we don't get this sidebar, which is like this filter. Oceanwp does not, Elementor Pro does not have this filter option. You need to then buy another plugin called Jet Smart Filters. Then it just increases the price, which is why I have Elementor Pro, but I still use this plugin for Oceanwp, and it gives like nice gallery and stuff. But you could also use Astra if you want nice starter templates, and if you don't have much crazy customization and you just want a nice simple WooCommerce page like this, or everything that is normally present in WooCommerce or just on a website like this. And even if there is a blog section like this with list, you can actually use the grid layout, which is a widget. And in this one, even though it provides this one, I still use the grid layout. So for example, if I go into the blog section for my website, this is Oceanwp, you could see I get like, this is the one that I'm using. This is Oceanwp's one that I'm using. But you could also use Elementor widget, archive widget, or a plugin which adds like this one, and just ditch this default which comes from Astra. So yeah, choose whichever you want, and thank you.